Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. In this episode, we're going to dive into Unreal Engine 5.4's motion design tool so we can learn how to make simple yet creative intros or different effects similar to what we just saw in the intro here. Um, we're going to look at some of the parameters inside the motion design tool, look at some of the different things that we can do with the effects and how to apply those effects in kind of unique and cool ways and how you can customize those to kind of fit the needs for your project. We'll also look at some stuff that we can do attaching these effectors to the character and having them interact with some of these motion design uh, static meshes and things that we're going to create. So, with that being said, please go ahead and like and subscribe if you haven't already. And let's just go ahead and get started on this. To begin with, I'm going to go ahead and there's a few things I'm going to do. I'm going to get rid of this player start so that our camera just kind of controls where we play from. And to begin with, go ahead and go to your plugins. If you haven't done this already, look for motion design and make sure you enable this. So we'll need motion design enabled. Yes to that, and go ahead and restart. All right, so after your restart, let's go ahead and make sure it's enabled. Motion design is enabled, so we can close that down. So what that did, it gave you this motion design tool. Let's go ahead and open that up. And what we're going to work with are just actors for now. And let's go ahead and just pull a clone actor out. Click it, and then it'll let you drop it in like that. So it starts with this default cube. You click it and go to it, you'll see default cube. And what's happening is this is being cloned multiple times in a 3x3 cube here. So some things you can do just right out of the gate. If you have your own meshes, you can attach them to the cloner and they will begin to clone it. But in cloner, let's go ahead and look at, I want to get rid of that. Look at some of these parameters that we're looking at. So for the cloner right now, it's in a grid and 3x3x3. If you go line, this is what it looks like. Changing the count obviously will change how many times this is cloned. You can look at a few things here. So you can get some basic, real cool effects. I'm going to go ahead and change my rotation as well, just to get that flat to the ground or parallel to the normal. So circle looks like that. Look at what like a cylinder looks like. So just out of the gate, you can get some pretty cool um, patterns here from this. The one we're going to do to look like the intro scene is we're going to use a honeycomb. And you get this kind of cool brick layered effect here. And go ahead and change your count to however many you want to do. You get like a 50x50. That's probably too much for what we want to do. So something like that. Gets you this cool brick layered effect. In the intro scene specifically, I went to the bridge here and I grabbed a brick material. I'm not going to do that for this scene just to save a little bit of time, but I grabbed the material here and I applied it to the default cube and got that to be different than just this default material here. You can also change out your cube or your, your mesh that you want to use here. Grab some stars. You can get stuff like that. So any kind of mesh that you have that you want to clone instead of the cube, you can. Spheres, that's pretty popular. Seeing people do this with spheres. So for this, just to watch it work, yeah, let's use. I want something that you can see it spin, so I don't want to use spheres. Triangles would work. But now let's just use these flat little squares here. That way we can watch them spin up. All right, so with that created, we're going to go back to our motion design here, back to your actors, and we're going to use these effectors. And what we want to do with these, each one we're gonna make a few here. We're going to do one at a time though. So for this effector, go ahead and get it down. to where we can start seeing it interact once we make some changes here. A couple things, you go to your cloner here, go to your effectors, and we're going to add that effector that we just created. So now this effector is set to affect this cloner, which is what we're looking for. And then with this effector, if we just start making some changes here. Oh, wrong thing that I'm changing. Um, on the mode, this is what we want to change, like this scale. So 0.5. And what you saw is this is what it's going to do to that cloner. So if you want these to be smaller as the effector goes over them, you would change this. You can also change things like the offset. So for the scene that we did at the intro is what I did is I had that set up higher. I also had it rotate. So as this goes around, they're going to look like they kind of pop up, and for what we're looking for, maybe 500 is too high, and maybe that is too. So just some cool effects that you can get with these effectors by doing this. You can also do this the opposite way. But while we're in the effector, let's go ahead and look at the sphere and some different stuff that we can do here. If we do the plane gives you two ends of a plane. You have where the max of the effect takes place and where the min takes place, and these planes go off into infinity, off in their planar directions. So as this moves that way, more of these are on the max side of this, so they are all spaced out and higher and have been rotated. So if you move that around, so that's one cool way to affect this. You can also change some of these, um, the actual effect itself in the easing. So if you do like out elastic, it gives you a little bit of variance in between. So it's going to be max and a little higher. But let's look at some like random. Random looks a bit messier, which maybe that's what you want to go for. Some other stuff you can mess with in here. So like curl noise, get stuff to actually move around as it's in there. So pretty cool little effect there. And maybe you don't want it as much, but I have already caused the issue. So as you saw, once I changed that, they did not return to where they were. So once you might have to undo the check mark to reset it. They do lock back into their orientation when you go back over, but yeah, they are still floating out with the noise. So uncheck that and get us back to normal. Some vortex, so you can still get some pretty cool stuff with that one. And again, I changed it, and you see it didn't make any difference. So uncheck it and check it to get it back to how you. If you do reset these, some orientation variants, so pretty cool stuff. These are now just kind of change rotating in their orientation as well. Lots of cool features just kind of built into this that you don't have to. You can set your attractors. They're all right now going to looks like the center of the Earth, and check, and now they're still attracted, but very slightly. Oh nope, that was the wrong thing. So now, yeah, very slightly. If we go like 50, they go a little faster. So some pretty cool stuff that you can do just immediately. Gravity, just have them fall. and again, it doesn't return. So this could be a cool effect if you had a character that was about to walk over something like this, and then all of a sudden, floor falls out from under him. Or attach this to your character and have it run. And I actually will set something like that up in our character demo momentarily. But for now, that's kind of some of the basics to just what the effectors can do. Very basic. Like I said, we can always make it a little different. Um, and another thing that is kind of a good to note is you can actually duplicate that effector. Let's go to the cloner. Let's go to our effector, and we'll add this newest one that I have, effector 3. And when we go and look at this now, let's keep it as a sphere, but we can change what's happening. And maybe for this one, we want it to go to 250 half. Maybe we want this one to have some curl noise, just a little bit of curl noise here. And instead of doing random, let's do something more like in out. And then these, you'll get them to kind of stack up. So you can pile these kind of on however you want them. Change the inner outer radiuses. So lots of cool ways to mess with these. So with that being said, those are the basics. There's also a text actor, which you saw me use. So let's set up a little quick scene here with a sequencer, and kind of I'll show you the way that I went about adding this. So for this, we want to add our effector to our scene, and we also want to add a camera. So let's get our camera the basic position here, and let's go ahead and add the first key for that. For the effector, we want to add a transform, and let's add our first key for that. But for the effector, I want this to start off, and we'll add the key there. So currently nothing happening, but let's say by the end of this, we want that effector to have moved, say something like this. This is just a short little clip, so like 5 seconds worth. That'll get that moving like that. And so let's go also to our motion design, to our actors, and grab a text actor. And for the text actor, I want to put this kind of in line with where that effector is going to go through. And with this, let's go ahead and change. That's probably good for that. And let's just do, we'll just say motion design. Let's increase to that. Let's lay it, oh, wrong way. Let's go 0 here. See what that's looking like. There we go. And again, I'm not going to put too much effort into this, just to kind of show you ways that we can manipulate this as well. So if I grab this text actor and I bring it over to my sequencer, and on this one, if you want to, there are some things you can change. And if you look over here, you'll have some style and stuff. Let's give this some color other than white. Uh, that's probably all good for what we're doing. But you have this text 3D character transform, and this is what we want to add over here. So text 3D character transform, and once we go there, we also want to add a scale begin, and just grab that. It'll give you the full vector. We want it to begin at 0, so it went away, and we want to grab a text. Sorry. The text begin and end, they kind of work together, and it's the end of the line of text. So if you see, if I add one here and one here, that's all good, because if we go 0 0.5, 0 0.5, okay, well, I guess we're still going to start with, we'll go ahead and set these where they're at. And by the end, we want it 1, 2. Yeah, we might not. I don't know if we don't need this one for now. Let's just get rid of that. And then at the very beginning, let's actually. You can set it to 0, so it's not there, or set it to 1. But let's just see what this looks like. Just showing you something that you can do, and it's kind of growing as that goes by. So, just some really simple ways that you can get some of these to work together. Obviously, this is very basic, but just kind of working through the parameters of what we can change for this, and obviously you can change all your text and stuff. So, pretty cool little way to work with the motion design mode. For this next part, let's set something up with the character. Let them interact with the scene and some of these motion design stuff as well. So, just so we can kind of show what kind of cool stuff that can be done with these. Um, ensure if you start a new project that you enable that motion design plugin if you haven't already. But from there, let's go ahead and jump into motion design. And I'm not sure quite what we want to do, but let's go ahead and get a cloner out here. We'll just, again, change that rotation. I'm not a fan of it starting at that angle that it starts at, but yeah, it seems to always start at that. Maybe it's the way that I click it in. I don't know. But just to start with, let's go ahead and we'll go to our third person character, or whichever character you want to apply these to. Go to our selection mode, grab our character here. Let's see. Let's do it this way. So I'm just going to bring my character into the scene. I'm going to remove this. Uh, this just so I can have a character. Okay, so the game mode is overriding, so it has that. But I'm going to, let's go. This is a this isn't a good way to do this, but I'm going to um, just have this pawn be the one that's auto possessed. This will probably still. Okay, so yeah, it's not dropping in the other because the game mode, if there's not something for you to possess, the game mode, though, especially in the starter kit, will automatically give you that. And you can change that in your game mode if you need to, but so now let's go ahead and grab a motion design, and let's grab an effector. And for now, I'm going to place this right at my character, and I'm going to attach that to my character. And let's just move it up like that. We'll get everything back to flat normal. We'll go all zeros on here so it gets it at the character's origin, which is fine. Go to our cloner, and here we need to add the effector in. So we'll add that effector, and inside of our effector, just to kind of see what this will do, let's move a few things. We'll just do like 500, and you'll see just like that, you've almost created a auto door. So pretty cool, just immediately stuff that you could do. Let's do maybe make this work as a bridge, and instead of this, again, I'm just kind of doing some stuff that can give me some cool effects. So not necessarily anything that you would do exactly like this in a game, but stuff that you could do. So now as I approach this, that spear is under enough, and you start to see it pop up. So you would need to obviously work out how far that needed to be. So 500 is too much. Uh, well, let's go -5. No, that's probably good where it was. -200, and on the effect itself, let's only go up 200. See what that looks like. Oh, definitely not enough. Also, you would need to set this to something that you could actually step on, and I think there is step enabled. So let's see what that looks like. That didn't enable step. So you'd have to play with it, but still something cool that you can get out of it. So another thing that would be cool is, say, you have this cave wall or something that you want your character to, maybe this effector doesn't exist until you collect a certain item, or something like that. And then once you approach this wall, let's do something where we throw in some curl noise, and not anything too crazy, but like 200. Let's just throw in a whole bunch of stuff and kind of get this to look funky. We'll throw that in there. Yeah, now once we approach it, we should get some almost just like jumping out of your way behaviors. Sure what I moved before, but I did forget to move that up. So now let's see what it does. Kind of starts falling out of your way. Um, we could turn those up more, and again, if these were keeping you out, if they were solid, with collision, maybe you got to wait for them to get out of your way. So just some cool stuff you can do here. Let's do 150, 100. See what that looks like. Maybe you had to apply a key, and then the effector kind of falls over, and then the cave wall starts moving out of your way. So yeah, the actual effector part is what is keeping me from moving. So the cloner, maybe that's a, but either way, some pretty cool stuff that you can get from this with characters. So another thing using that honeycomb layout that you could do is something like this to where, and let me actually do, probably should have done gravity on this one. Um, but as you approach this floor, maybe it just starts kind of falling away. You can't really see what they're doing. Let's turn gravity back off. But as you run over these, they start getting affected by whatever your stuff is. So maybe can't return to your path. Lots of cool ways to interact, even with these characters. Is all we're really looking at here. So um, I'm probably gonna put together a couple of full projects for this and see what we can come up with, and either do another video for those in the future, or maybe even just put the projects on my Patreon for download. So again, really easy to play with these things. That's really what we're showing here. So pretty cool behaviors you can get from these cloners and effectors and the motion design stuff. But that is going to do it for this episode. Again, if you learned anything here, like what you see, please go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. Make sure those notification bells are on so you don't miss future videos. And let me know in the comments if there's anything that you see, or any questions you have for this, or anything you want to see in the future. Let me know. And that's going to do it for this episode, and we'll see you in the next one.